Some interesting news out of the UK today. Essentially, you have an AI company that trained its model on all sorts of information that included images from Getty Images. The question was around this idea of copyright law. Now, this is in the UK, not the US. It's interesting. Nevertheless, the idea of copyright is the question of, do you have the right to copy something, frankly? And there were two kind of pivot points here. The first is the idea that no, when a generative tool creates an image and that image was derived from its understanding based on training data of other images that it ingested, especially if they're in the public domain, even if they are copywritten, that's not a kind of per se infringement. However, if the generative model creates something that has a proprietary watermark or trademark, for example, if the image that it creates actually says Getty Images and has a watermark or a trademark, then the ruling there was that Getty absolutely has the right to sue them for copyright infringement. So both sides are kind of declaring victory. It doesn't really completely clarify where we are with intellectual property. This is a huge emerging field. The funny thing is, one of my students who is an absolute expert in the area of intellectual property, I like to tease him to say that, it's finally cool now. Of course, he says intellectual property law has always been cool, but it's certainly getting a lot more interesting in the era of AI. What constitutes a breach of someone's intellectual property if that has been the grist for the mill for AI? Each of us is sort of the product of our own training. When you think of it, we've gone out as biological models and we've trained our brains on data in the world. We're certainly capable of coming up with net new intellectual property of our own. It's an important field to pay attention to.